Would you like to attract more patients to your practice using digital advertising, but you don't want to waste money on marketing strategies that don't work? Today, we're diving deep into the world of digital advertising with a focus on Google Ads, one of the most powerful tools available for businesses today. Whether you're a seasoned optometrist or just starting your practice, understanding how to leverage Google Ads can be a game changer. Joining us is a true expert in the field, someone who's helped countless businesses navigate the complexities of Google Ads to achieve remarkable results. We'll be covering everything from the basics of what Google Ads is and how it works, to specific strategies for targeting local patients, optimizing ad campaigns, and tracking performance. Plus, we'll get a glimpse into future trends in digital advertising that could keep your practice ahead of the competition. Get ready for an insightful conversation with IDOC's own Onyé Anyanwu. Hey, welcome to another episode of I Own a Business, where we focus on helping practice owners grow the practice of their dreams. I'm your host, Dr. Steve Vargo, and today we have a treat for all of our listeners who want to learn how to increase their practice's visibility and attract more patients. So we're going to dive deep into the world of digital advertising with a focus on Google Ads, one of potentially the more powerful tools available today for practices. So to help us understand Google Ads and hopefully get the greatest return on this marketing investment, I have with me Onyé Anyanwu.
Exactly.
Is
Hey
it
Steve,
really
how you doing?
exactly, or are you just being nice? Because we just covered
I've
this, and
been.
I'm not sure I even said it right.
You was almost, you was close, and
Close
Yanwu,
enough. I'll take
Yanwu.
close enough. But I'm so happy to have you here. Anya is
Appreciate
our,
it,
our
man.
senior
Appreciate it.
marketing strategist. So
Yeah,
how you
yeah,
been, man?
yeah. I'm doing great, man. Can't complain. Enjoying what I do. Help them time to practices grow their business. All is well. I love this industry that I'm in. So every day that I get a chance to do it, I'm learning new things. It keeps me going. So,
Yeah, we were just talking before we hit record about how fast things change in the industry, and
yes,
that's a big
yes,
part of what
yes.
you do from a marketing standpoint, is staying on top of that and trends. And I think we'll get into the one of those areas because marketing is always
Yeah.
changing as well. And we'll talk about marketing, but with an emphasis on Google Ads. So before we do that, I think that for people who don't know you, if you don't mind, just take a minute to describe your role with IDOC, what you do, and maybe
Yeah,
just touch on your specific expertise in the area of Google Ads.
gotcha, gotcha. No problem at all. So I am the senior marketing strategist here at Optometry Marketing Services, which is founded by IDOC. And, we provide website design, hosting, and marketing services for practices in our industry, right? And personally, in my role, I sought and work with practice owners to create the best marketing strategy, right, that aligns with their business goals. And on top of that, I'm also the Google Ads specialist here at OMS. Background-wise, I've worked in many industries, but specifically in the healthcare industry, which I've definitely grown to love. I love to help small businesses, practice owners, get to that next stage, right? Because especially in healthcare, you go to school for so many years, but then you come out and like, oh, how do I run this business? No matter if it's therapist, um, optometrist, no matter the field, it's like, they didn't teach me too much about the business side. So, and marketing is a big share of that business, right? And growing in that ideal situation of growing your practice. So, something that I enjoy to do, to help the practice owners, get to a place in their business journey where they feel like they achieved something greater, right? So,
And yeah, you hit it right on the head when you said there's not a lot of business education or training in optometry school. I think we had one class at the time, so
yeah,
you come out just without a lot of knowledge in the area of business and practice management. So it's one of the reasons I
yeah,
like doing this podcast. Is my hope with talking to people like you, we can shorten that learning curve and help people
exactly.
not make as many mistakes, right? So
That's the key.
speaking of marketing, social media, you always get a wide range of opinions and viewpoints, right, on social
Yeah,
media. So I was scrolling through one of the optometry groups on Facebook, and there
Mhm.
was a thread, and somebody posted something along the lines of what do you think about Google Ads? And I clicked on it just to see what people would say. And the first comment was, "What a waste of time." That would, that obviously somebody had a bad experience. And the one right after that was, "Are you kidding me? It's the best thing we've ever done." So you tend to
Yeah,
get a wide range of opinions and results on some of these threads. But that's why I want to talk to you, that if a practice is going to invest in this marketing channel, my hope is that their experience can align with some of the more positive feedback that showed up on that thread. And there was a lot of positive feedback
yeah,
as well. So let's maybe start with this question for those unfamiliar, for those without much experience in
yeah.
Google Ads and digital marketing. Could you start by just explaining what Google Ads is and how it works in simple terms for our listeners who might not have much experience with it?
Yeah, I know, I always get people asking me, doctors always asking me, hey, should I invest in Google Ads? And for those that don't know, Google Ads is an online advertising platform, right, that allows businesses to create ads that appear on Google's search engine, right, and other affiliated sites, right? So the search engine is the engine that is the online platform or the Google search, right? And most everything on the internet is based off of keywords, right? So when someone searches for a keyword related to their practice, right, like optometrist near me or eye doctor near me, the practice can appear at the top um, of the search result, right, in the search engine, right, making it highly visible for businesses or in B2B, or in our case, for people that are looking for the practice services, right? So increases high visibility. And I would say a great thing about Google Ads is you only pay when someone clicks on your ad, right? Which is why it's often referred to as, you might hear, pay per click or PPC advertising. You only pay when somebody actually click on your ad, and which, again, overall health optometry practices reach potential patients who are actively looking for this service. And I mean actively, right? When you're on social media or Facebook and Instagram, your ads are playing when people are busy doing other things, right? It's kind of like interrupting their experience. But on Google's ads, why it's so powerful, you're attracting high intent individuals. People are actually typing in, hey, I'm looking for this particular doctor or this type of service. So definitely, I believe with service-based businesses, a powerful platform and no, that would definitely impact revenue immediately.
Is it the keyword that's most important here? So I was on a call recently
Hmm.
with Maddie Langston, who leads the
Yeah,
marketing team, and she was having a conversation with another IDOC member, and she was pointing out that Google reps, and I hope it's okay to talk about this here. I think it is,
yeah,
but in her
yeah,
opinion, Google reps, sometimes their approach, if something is not working, is just throw more money at it. Now,
yeah,
her feedback to that was that that's not always necessary. It's not always the
yeah.
best thing to do. So, can you elaborate on where she might have been going with that? Because I think it had more to do with these targeted keywords that you're talking about.
Yeah, one of the first practices or strategies that that I like to start off with is actually testing, right? Testing the market when you're first running your campaign. Um, And I try to make sure that we don't, my responsibility is to save money for our clients regardless. Just because Google says, hey, you need to increase your budget, that's not the case. Right? Because you can have a terrible ad, a terrible campaign. Why would you throw, more oil on the fire? Right? Why would you waste more money on something that's terrible? Right? But here at IDOC, here at OMS, we thrive off of saving our practices, our doctors money by optimizing the Google Ads campaign as much as possible, right? To keep that budget low, keep cost per click low, right? Cost per conversion low. It's not necessary. Google takes into many key data points and factors when deciding what ads should show up first. it's not, hey, the person with the most money gets put at the top. In some cases with some of the practices that I run Google Ads for, we're actually competing with the big companies within the industry, right? And they may have more money than us individually because I'm dealing with mostly the practices, but we're strategizing, we're optimizing in a way that's keeping us there. So yeah, Maddie was right, throwing more money into the budget of your ads doesn't necessarily mean um it would, get you the results that you want.
Yeah, and I think that was her point, that the approach of you, Maddie, and the marketing team
Mhm.
is sort of counter to that. If Google's approach is just spend more money, where
Yeah, they
obviously
want you to spend
they
money,
want you
man.
to spend, let's face it, they want you to spend more money, but it's their business. So
Yeah, exactly.
it is what it is. But
Yeah,
it was just interesting to hear her response to that and yours as well. As
yeah,
you said yourself, my responsibility is to save you money. So it's just a different approach. But
exactly.
it takes the experts like yourself to be able to optimize
Yeah,
the approach. So really
exactly.
interesting. There's a typically an opportunity cost that comes
Yeah,
with advertising, with marketing, that where in simple terms, if you spend $100 on one marketing channel, that's $100 you don't have to spend on another marketing channel. And traditionally the marketing budgets for optometry practices is fairly small. It's usually somewhere at
yeah.
1 to 3% of revenues. So where do you feel like Google Ads fits within other forms of advertising? Do you feel that strong about it that it should elevate above a lot of the other options? And maybe my question would be more, what specific benefits can practices gain by using Google Ads compared to other forms of advertising?
Like I stated earlier that one of the most important things about Google Ads and who it benefits is, I know, e-com and different verticals could use it, but service-based businesses, right? Because most of the consumers, the consume, on the other side are consumers that are searching for optometry practices, plumbers, HVAC, right? On Google Ad, on Google, right? And Google is giving us a clear indication and it's attracting these high intent individuals, right? They want your services now. And this is why we have to be available, right? We have to show up on Google Ads and use platforms like that because, you know, when one person is looking for that particular service right now, if you're not visible, you may lose them to somebody down the street, right? And regardless, as far as benefits overall, there's a couple of several ways that optometry practice or businesses period will benefit, right? We're looking at targeted reach, right? Google allows you to target specific keywords that people are searching for, demographics, location, geographically, um, and like I said, all in all, making sure that the people that need your services sees your business, right? It's cost effective. You stated earlier that the budget in optometry to start is really low, especially geographically. Not like we're talking all throughout the US unless you have a eye product, right? But most people are looking to get patients in the door, right? So, um, when somebody click on your ad, that's the only time that you're actually paying, right? And it's definitely showing interest to people that want to see what you have to offer. Measuring results, I think, is um, amazing on Google, right? Because Google makes things so much easier, right? It provides a detailed analytics of how your ads are performing. And also, on the other end, you know, Google allows you to see your competition. Like, where do you stand? Right. So that, allows me to identify, hey, are we getting beat out by somebody spending more money? Are we strategically doing what we have to do to drive more business? So as far as analytics, it gives you a platform, a dashboard that allows to see, hey, where are your gaps in your strategy, and right, what can you do to optimize to get better? Um, and for practices, and like I said over and over, immediate visibility. right? A lot of over the last couple of months, a lot of doctors are coming to me and asking about SEO. SEO, yeah, I'm hearing about SEO keywords, right? But SEO is evergreen, and it can also take more time to show results, right? Google Ads on the other end, it gets you to the top of the search engine, and it attracts the people that you want right now, right? But the one thing I tell people, Google Ads kills two birds with one stone, right? At the same time, it's bringing you your ideal client right now or your ideal patient right now. And on the back end, it's driving traffic to your website. So Google's seeing all the traffic that's coming to your website, and that's helping your SEO and helping your pages rank higher. Okay, so it really kills two birds with one stone, right? Like I said, high intent prospects. And I won't get too long-winded with this, but think about it. When any of us is looking for a specific restaurant, I don't care whether it's Italian, Thai food, you know, looking just for a cheeseburger, right? We go straight to Google, right? And search for that particular thing we're looking for that's near us. So think about what people are doing. They're doing the same thing, searching for optometrists near them, right? So we definitely want to show up, um, as high as possible on the Google search engine.
So when I Google something, and like everybody, I do it all the time, there's a couple
Hmm.
things that I do that's probably not uncommon. One is I
Yeah,
make an assumption that the company that pops up
yeah,
early is a more legit company, is a better company. And I have no proof of that other than
yeah,
I sense that if the ones that are going to show up earliest are going to be superior to the ones on page three. It may or may not be the case, but that I'd
yeah,
make that assumption. And also some of it is just
exactly.
laziness. I don't want to go to page three. Like just give me what,
Exactly.
I'm
Like
looking at the ones
the
right.
percentage of people that actually go to page two
It's low.
yeah, it's very low.
Yeah.
So, showing up on a page and it's about real estate. Everything is digital real estate. If you can garner that attention immediately, most people would tend to click on the first um, practice that shows that.
So when you mentioned before, we were talking about just throwing money at more Google ads isn't always the answer,
Hmm.
especially if you've got a bad campaign. So can you
Yeah.
give me an example, whether it's a real example or maybe something that you could see being a good case study in optometry of a successful Google ads campaign?
Um, we worked well, overall successful Google Ads campaign um will bring you the desired result that you're looking for, whether a phone call, but get the conversions, right? Um, I would say Vision Salon, um, Dr. Johnson. We launched Google Ads with them, I believe, in late 2022. And he was like, "Hey, man, hopefully this thing works. He like 3 months." Right? So, we went ahead, and the thing I have to tell people, because I think these things are platforms and systems, right? You have to input data to get output, analyze the data, and make adjustments. Input data, output, analyze data, make adjustments, right? So if we're inputting data into Google Ads, right, we have to wait a significant, well, not significant amount of time, but some time to test, right, to see what's actually going on before making adjustments. So at that point in time, in the first 3 months, I was optimizing and seeing where we was at. Um, and it wasn't taking off, but by the second to third month and the continuous optimization, Google starts to, hey, saying, hey, they're consistent, they're making the right adjustments, the count and its count, took off. Is one of our better accounts that in regards to the results from Google Ads that we have here at OMS, right? IDOC. So, um, and as far as the campaign, one of the, there's different ways to optimize. Everybody has different strategies, right? Um, one of the, I'll say the biggest thing you have to focus on when optimizing and setting up your campaign is keyword research, right? Before you even do anything else, um, and on the ongoing process, continuously researching and updating your keywords to make sure they are relevant, right, and effective, um, in targeting the keywords that your audience are searching for, right? So that is so important in optimizing campaigns. And that's what we were doing with Dr. Johnson, right, in Business Salon. When I had my consultation with him, he told me certain things because he understands his business more than I do, right? And he told me certain things well, it's basically about carving out your ideal client. And you have to be honest, right? Is it a Medicaid client, right? Is it a cash paying? What does your client look like? Are we just targeting dry eye, right? Because these are the type of keywords that you have to put yourself in your client's mental perspective and say, hey, what are they typing in when they're looking for my services? So on the onset and identifying these keywords, um, Dr. Johnson, I call it very successful identifying what is needed in that area, right? And who does he want to bring into his practice as far as patients. And then really focusing, um, when you're building out this campaign, um, one of the things that we use when you run Google campaign, Google has this feature within Google as it's called Keyword Planner, right? So you're able to enter certain keywords in the area that you want that data from and identify, hey, what keywords have the highest volume, right? Because you could be in an area that nobody's looking for dry eye, right? So why are we running ads for dry eye? The volume is actually 3 people, right? Where in that same areas, people maybe search for eye doctor near me, and it's 20,000 searches per month, right? So keyword research is so important um, when launching your Google Ads campaign. The ad copy is used as well. Make sure you're writing a compelling copy that includes a clear call to action, schedule an appointment, right? Availability, right? Um, and also highlights your unique selling point, maybe that dry eye specialty or a specific type of insurance you accept. So you really have to make sure that your ad stands out, right? Landing pages, that's another thing. So there's different aspects to a complete Google Ads um, campaign, right? Your landing page has to align with your ads. If somebody is searching for a Sunday ice cream and see your ad and it gets your landing page and you're talking about apple pie, that they didn't come to look for them, right? So your landing page has to align with your campaign and your ads. The same keywords have to also be weaved into your landing page. So Google could say, okay, my users will get a great experience, from the ads to the landing page. And lastly, of course, bid managing, um, making sure that you're getting the most out of your budget before actually decreasing or increasing, and focusing on optimizing and improving your quality score overall, which I just spoke of, like the landing page. It's really like Google's rating of relevance and quality of your keywords and ads. Right. So Google takes accountability in multiple things, um, when optimizing. It sounds like it's a much, but it's a lot. But here at OMS, all right, our practices don't have to worry about managing and continuous optimization because we handle all of that for them,
Which
right?
is, yeah, which is what I was
Yeah.
thinking while you were talking. And I'm
Hmm.
going back in my
Yeah.
mind to that thread that I opened up with where one doctor said it's a waste of time and another doctor said
Hmm.
well, they were obviously strategizing this differently. Maybe one just understood it better, but just hearing you talk,
Exactly.
you're doing a good job of simplifying it. But at the same time, I guarantee a lot of people are listening to this going, I don't have the time to do all that. So just something to keep in mind if you're
Exactly.
listening to this, that we
Yeah.
we do help, we do assist with this service.
And also, appreciate you bring that up, Steve. we are also a Google Ads partner, right? Um, Meaning that we as a company have partnered with Google, right? And it's recognized for number one, maximizing campaign success for our clients and also driving business growth through Google Ads, right? So, having that honor of a Google Ads partner is something that we take highly, and being able to have Google right there with us, and helping us through our journey of growing the business for our optometry practice.
Two words I had written down before we
Hmm.
started were local and targeted. So you hit on both of those in what you just talked about. The local
Yeah.
aspect, you mentioned like hypothetically, if only three people, were dry eye targets and you had
Yeah.
some other area of eye care that was much more prevalent, we want to make sure that with our marketing, we're targeting the interests of the local area. But
Hmm.
targeted advertisers as well. I think most people are at least familiar with that term, and most of us are. We
Yeah.
see that. If you Google something now, right, and immediately it starts showing up in your social media feeds because they think, well, that's something you're interested in, so I'm going to feed it
Yeah.
to you now. So it's a big aspect of marketing, and it allows, I think, for companies to be more targeted with the audience. And you mentioned something else. And maybe I'm just we might have covered it the whole thing,
Yeah.
but if there's anything to expand on that, you mentioned something kind of interesting: the input, the output, and the adjustments.
Yeah.
Here's a big challenge with a lot of marketing is with a lot of marketing, you don't really know how it's performing because you can't track it. You could run an
Yeah.
ad on a local radio station or sponsor a little league
Hmm.
team, and you hope it drives business. But there's an advantage, obviously, to marketing strategies that can be tracked and can be
Yeah.
quantified. So, is that something that obviously an optometry practice, could they they can track the performance of their Google ad campaigns? Are there any key metrics that you focus on in that process?
Yeah. Whenever running, if the time practice decides to run Google Ads, what I tend to look for as far as key metrics are click-through rate, right? CTR, which is basically the percentage of people who click on your ad after seeing it. Right, so they see it, it's an impression, the percentage. Do they actually click to go to the destination that you intend them to go to, right? A higher CTR, click-through rate, indicate that your ad is relevant, it's compelling. People are clicking on it, they like it, right? And like I said, they're getting past your ad and to the next step in that funnel, the next step on your patient journey to becoming an actual patient, right? Conversion rate, which is the percentage of clicks that result in a desired action, right? Such as, I would say, calling a practice or booking an appointment. This shows how effective you are at driving valuable action, right? That's going to impact, I would say, immediate revenue, right? CPC, cost per click, right? Which is the average you pay for each click, right? And keeping this low, right? The CPC and maintaining high quality clicks is crucial, right? Keeping your CPC low. And I always tell my doctors and the staff at the practices when running Google Ads, sometimes your CPC may be high, right? Because you have a lot of competitors in your area. So it's like the auction, right? If you say $2 and I say 10, you got to come up to 11, right? So it's the same thing. It's an auction. So you may be battling in that auction with the big companies in the industry, right? And they're bidding at 10 and you're bidding at $2. Well, you didn't even show up in the auction. You better have a great ad, right? Or you have to come up to 10 and 11, right? It's a cost per click. And whenever you're bidding for any keywords in an auction, um, Keyword Planner will show you what the cost per click is, right? But regardless, I'll still go after it because your ad may be good enough to get the results that you want, right? Another metric is cost per conversion, right? The average cost to achieve that desired action, right? And this is key because this really helps you understand your return on investment, right? And if your ad and campaign resonates um, with Google, right, and your audience, right? And the thing about Google, uh, the conversions, and like I said earlier, is actually the phone call or booking an appointment. Somebody visiting a website is not the actual conversion. No, it's you know, when I get practices that come over and they show me their, the Google ads that they work with other people, and I see what they're spending. Some advertisers take clicks as the key metric. I'm like, get out of here. Like I don't care about clicks, right? Which is important, it's the next step, but I want conversions, right? So that is the key thing. Are you getting the desired action that you want out of your Google ads? Um, so those are some of the key metrics, but definitely conversion, conversion, conversion. How much you paying for your conversion, cost per conversion, is key, and your conversion rate. Anything that ties with conversion, is key. And I would say, I don't know if you can visualize this, but it's really like telling a story of your patient journey, right? So the first step is click. If you add click-through rate, is your click-through rate good or bad? If it's not, you need to work on your ads, right? If it's good, they move on to the next stage, right? Which is hopefully converting, right? Clicking on the lead and converting. So, and if you're not getting conversions, you may have to check your landing page, all right? What's going on that people are not going further in the journey to becoming or booking an appointment, by becoming a patient.
Very helpful, very insightful. Our goal here was not necessarily to make everybody a Google Ads expert, but rather to
Mhm.
introduce them to the platform if they weren't familiar, and really, I think, make a case for giving it a chance. And what I'm hearing from you are a couple things. If you decided that you wanted to take this on yourself, there's a couple
Yeah,
things I would recommend. One, learn about it. If you're going to do this
exactly.
yourself, learn about it, because there's a lot to learn. I think people can pick up from you that it's there's a lot more complexities to it, to doing it right. If you're going to do it, you might as well doing
Exactly.
it right. Try it, experiment with it, see what's working, see what's not working, make adjustments, but also be consistent. You mentioned something earlier
Exactly.
about Google. Don't just try it once and give up on it. I suspect that was what happened on that thread I read where somebody
Yeah.
said, it's garbage, don't do it. Well, do you understand it? Did you apply the things that you learned, and were you consistent with it? So yeah, give it a shot. If you don't want to do it, and I know there's a lot of people listening to this who say that all sounds great, but I just don't have the time
Mhm.
or desire to learn all that. Let us do it. We got our theme at IDOC is let IDOC do it. So we'd be happy to do it for you. And from what it sounds like, we can
Exactly.
actually prove to you whether it's working or not based on the data. Is that correct? Would that be safe to assume?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, instantly, because we've done so many campaigns that it has its own characteristics, right? So we could tell, um, by looking at the data, hey, will this be successful or not, right? And what can we do to make it successful? So definitely data. As a marketer, and I believe in most businesses, but as a marketer, I focus on following the data, right? A lot of people say, hey, my ideal client or patient is this person. But the data says it's not, right? It's not Sally, it's Tracy, right? So leaning on the data, I've opened up certain campaigns and just done an analysis, and people really running Google Ads based on how they feel, right? Instead of actually looking at and trusting the data and what it's telling you. I might love this particular keyword, and this keyword made it work in Miami, but didn't work in Dallas, right, where I'm located at. And it's telling me there's no clicks, no conversions. But I love this keyword. It worked over here. It may not be suitable to use that keyword in Dallas, right? So I have to look at the data. There's been no clicks for the last 3, 4 months. It's time to cancel this keyword, pause this keyword, and move on to the others that are showing you people are searching for this more here. So,
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, feelings are great, but sometimes they can drag us down the wrong path.
yeah,
And numbers really don't lie. So yeah, paying
that's what they
attention to
say.
the numbers don't lie. So let me close out here. Where we
Yeah,
started, we were talking about how quickly the industry changes and having to stay on top of trends
yeah.
and remain innovative, remain relevant. So let me ask you, what future trends do you see in digital marketing and Google Ads that optometry practices should be aware of to stay ahead of the competition?
Um, Steve, we could talk about a lot of stuff, right? But the elephant in the room when it comes to business today is the impact of AI, right? Artificial intelligence and AI, we call machine learning, Google Ads and Facebook and all these ad platforms are really revolutionizing the way digital advertising works, including Google Ads, right? AI will, and it's starting to, integrated more into these platforms, right? AI will help improve ad targeting, right? Analyzing human behavior, which allows for more precise targeting of ads to users who are most likely to be interested in what the practice, uh, offers. It increases personalization with, Google Dynamic ads, they automatically tailor ad content to individuals based on again their preferences and behavior, right? And one thing you may want to think about is like e-commerce, right? You know, e-commerce sites recommend products, right? So AI can now suggest personalized offers. You may be searching for dry eye or anybody searching for a new grill. AI can now come on the back end and understand your behaviors and start showing you more of what you're looking for, right? But one thing we have to look out for with ad targeting and personalizing experiences that AI provides, we have to keep in mind and really make sure that we are not leveraging key consumer information that compromises HIPAA compliance, right? Which is very important when running ads and marketing within the healthcare industry. So that's one thing I keep in mind um, is making sure that we align here at IDOC here at OMS and staying in the pocket of not causing any HIPAA compliance.
Yeah, that's a big part of it as well. And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
definitely concur on the AI. I've become um, a much bigger user of AI over the past 3 to 4 months. We just did a podcast. If someone wants to search it out, it's called Chat GPC as a free employee, and it just takes sort of an
yeah.
introduction into. Yeah, I was inspired to create the podcast from things that I was doing and things that I was learning and
Yes.
talking with other doctors that said we've outsourced this now. It's not the administrative stuff and the stuff that nobody really wants
Hmm.
to do, but creating marketing campaigns is something a lot of practices are doing now through the use of AI. So that
Yeah,
tool.
even like the AI powered chatbots and like virtual assistant, right? In which on their website can engage with potential patients, right? Answering common questions and guiding towards, the ideal desired action is booking an appointment, right? So, which overall is allowing practice owners to focus more on their patients and other aspects of the business, you know. But and excuse me, um, getting deeper into technology, um, we're dealing with voice, like voice search,
Mhm.
right? Is becoming more popular. AI will optimize ads within Google Ads for voice queries, right? Ensuring optometry practices are visible, uh, in the voice search, right? So think about optimizing for conversational keywords, right? Which would definitely be essential. Look at our daily lives. More people are asking Alexa, Siri, Google AI to handle everyday tasks like we just spoke about, right? Even ChatGPT. Um, we're looking at visual search when you input the image, right? Somebody can input an image in Google and get the actual information on that particular image, right? And this could particularly be useful for optometry practice showcasing eyewear or a special proprietary um, brand or product, right? And then we have AR, augmented reality, right? AI can now power AR ads, like that allows users to virtually try on glasses, right, and contact lenses, providing interactive experience, right, or shopping experience, right? And to be honest, you probably, if anybody has shopped on Amazon, if you're buying furniture or any type of um, big products or a table or couch, Amazon will allow you to see how it would look in your home before even purchasing, right? So as technology and AI gets more advanced, so does the way we do business, especially in the timeshare
Yeah.
industry.
Yeah, and I would say even if you're not using it heavily in your
Yeah,
practice, you should at least be experimenting with it because it is going to
exactly.
change the way
Yeah,
that a lot of things happen. A really good book, if anyone wants to read more on it, it's called Co-Intelligence, and that was the author's approach to AI. It was a
yeah,
really balanced book on where we're at now, the good that could come from it, the watch outs, that some of the
exactly.
scenarios and how likely they are. But I thought it was a really great book on the topic and, taking a lot of the how to use AI in ways that could
Yeah,
benefit you in the
yeah,
practice. So, well, thanks so
yeah,
much, Anya. I really appreciate your time. This was really insightful. Like I said, a lot of great stuff here. I think for
yeah.
some that have that brain for marketing and want to dig their hands in, it's exciting for them. And maybe if they've been thinking about Google Ads, this is what it took to give
Yeah,
them the motivation to lean into it a little bit more. But for those who just said, I don't know what most of what you said even means, and I don't want to, we can help you with this. If you're looking for,
exactly.
new approaches to marketing, we can definitely help you with this. Where can people learn more about IDOC's marketing services?
Optometry marketing services.com. Um, our landing page, our website tell you everything of what we have to offer. Um, and the biggest thing I'll take away is that we are focused, specific industry focused, right? So when we're marketing, um, the downfalls, the highs, the what's around the corner when it comes to this industry, which helps us make our marketing campaigns even better, right? And we help our clients, we help practices resonate with their ideal audience, right? And one thing before we go, I want to make sure that we're um, in the industry or in the digital landscape where every business has to be a subject matter expert, right? Because before somebody actually raises their hand, a lot of the consumers they do their due diligence, they do their research, right? So our online experiences, our online presence have to be positioned in a way that it gives our consumers the information needed, right? By the time they contact you, they're ready to go, right? They're ready to say, yes, I want to be a patient of yours, right? And that comes from us, for practice owners, for doctors become subject matter experts in their field.
Yeah, it's a great point. And I mean, what you said before as well, our expertise in this particular field. So
Yeah,
maybe that's why if you don't have that, you end up spending more money. You're kind of throwing spaghetti at a wall
exactly,
and seeing what sticks, and you don't
exactly.
necessarily have to do that. So again, thanks, man. I appreciate it. It was great seeing you. It was great talking with you.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate you for having me. It was great.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please subscribe to this podcast, I Own a Business, wherever you're listening. Leave a review, share it with friends and colleagues, and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And if you want to learn more about IDOC or IDOC Marketing Services, you can visit our website at idoc.net, and you can check out the links in our show notes for some helpful resources for your practice. So we'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone, and keep dreaming big.